me see if I got sound. I think I do. All right. Hold on one second. All right. I'm just waiting to see. Okay. All right. Shit. This is what happens when you don't do this kind of crap for a while. Anyway, welcome to episode 722 of the Black Brain Trust. This is the Sapio-Males Guide to the Galaxy. Life. Life, yeah. what it, okay, well, yeah. Life, right? Like what the hell? What are we talking about here tonight, right? Um wait, wait. Another thing I have not done. Hold on. Like I said, it's been a couple weeks since we've done this, so let me first do this, and then I need. Let me see here. If is okay. All right. So as you guys make your way in, you could hit the like, right? Hit the like, and then also type 403. Type 403 in. If everything sounds okay, like you guys hear music, you hear me, everything sounds cool, right? Let me know. 403. And then I also want to officially welcome everyone. It's been a minute since I've done this, so pardon me. I have to get my manners together here for this. Um, all right. All right. So, life. What are we talking about here tonight? Well, we're talking about just that, the nature of it. Not only our own existence, our own experiences, but also maybe say like what we observe outside of ourselves. Say like in in society or in nature. If you go on hikes or if you like to go hit the lakes, you know, go fishing and stuff, or the oceans. I like to do a lot of I like to fish. That's kind of my thing. I grew up fishing and stuff like that. So there's life all around you, right? Even like the type of life that gets on your effing nerves, right? Like for example, mosquitoes, which for whatever reason seem to have a liking to me, right? Life forms nonetheless, right? And this is all in light of this Roe v. Wade thing, right? And so since there's kind of been a change in how I guess you could say life is created and managed, so to speak. Um, there's a lot of conversation, right? And I would say like maybe like black YouTube sector. I mean, I know like the stuff that's on like mainstream media and stuff like that, right? But this has always been sort of like a elephant in the room type of subject matter in the black community because it's so prevalent. It happens so often, right? And it is definitely used as a birth control method. Now, my own opinion, given that there's other methods, that is extremely archaic, right? Very savage, right? And I think the some of the reaction videos I've seen, right, where you have like women that are reacting to like the decision that happened this past week, and they're completely losing their shit, right? And I'm just like, gee, you don't really value the sanctity of life too much. I mean, these are the same people that will throw a conniption fit if their dogs got hit by a car, right? But I guess, tossing humans out of the womb is not an issue. Hmm. So it makes one who has a functioning mind pause and think for a second. Like, you know, um, is this where society is? Is this where we are as an aggregate? Right? I get it. We all have like a spectrum, right? We have a spectrum in terms of our thoughts and views on things, right? However, there is also such a thing as a general consensus, right? And a general consensus is something essentially that everyone can agree upon. Okay, that's something everyone can agree upon, a general consensus, right? And I think, throwing a puppy into a fire pit, everyone would agree that's awful, right? Everyone would agree that that's awful. Um, Taking out children in a war zone, everyone can agree that's not cool. That's not cool, right? That's just not cool. But I guess when it comes to reproduction, uh, one wants to, and this is based on my observation of this um, reaction to this ruling. If you're going to incur on one's own space to make a decision to delete, let's say, life at their disposal and their decision based on uh, what they feel. Uh, you know, is I had someone tell me in a chat earlier in a week on the Roger Report. Okay, shout out to Roger. I had a woman tell me that essentially, if a woman decides to delete life, it was in God's plan. And I said, how do you justify this? And she said, well, a woman's womb is the portal to life. And I said, okay, um, we're putting a lot on that. Without any sort of seed or a seminalis, any sort of light, because that's what sperm is, or a seminalis. There's a light in it. That is the actual soul essence, right? That kind of sparks the whole thing, right? Other than that, it's almost it's like dirt with no seeds in it that grows nothing. That's essentially what a womb is. So, I'm like, okay, listen, it takes two to tango, sweetheart. And I think what God did was He kind of put things in place here, where if you engage in the act of sex, then essentially what you are doing is acting on what is required to procreate. So, one should not be surprised when, say, a pregnancy occurs if you don't take measures to prevent such a thing. Um, yeah, I'm over here thinking, well, you know, if you want to engage in that act but you don't want to get pregnant, there's things you can do. And then if you choose to engage in it to where the chance of pregnancy does happen, I'm assuming you want it. Otherwise, you wouldn't do it. Or no? Am I getting this wrong? Well, this is why we want to talk about life, right? Because these are, understand, the people in the current time that are in existence today speaking various points and positions on this are products of the procreative process. they actually are embodiments and engenderments of life. Think about this. Think about how hmm, just kind of how perverse that is. You know, the people that procreated you did not take the measures to get rid of you, but then here you are getting rid of people. Yes, we're met with yet another conundrum, right? Hmm. So let's do this because in the description of this live stream, and I don't have a 403 yet. Anybody who's listening, if everything sounds okay, can you just can someone drop a 403? You know, just to you know, assuage my insecurities about my live streaming capabilities because I openly admit I suck at this. So can if you could drop a 403, everything sounds cool. That way I know we're all good to go. Okay. All right. So we're gonna do that here. Um oh, okay. Now I got some comments. Cool. Let's see. We got Sick Diggy in the house. What's going on? Welcome. Hulk, what's going on, bro? Welcome, man. How you doing? Toya, hey lady, how are you? Okay, we got some 403s in the house. Notice we don't have no 304s in the house. Yeah. Uh pun was kind of intended on that one. Okay. Alright. Give me just 1 second. Because I have some quotes. I have some quotes about life. And you know what? Here's what I'll do. I'm gonna do this. Give me just 1 second. Because I'm gonna if there's some people who well let me go through this. I'll do this. Let me do this. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done this crap, so you know I just need to do this right here. Give me just a second. Okay, give me just a second here. All right, there we go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so okay, Joe Average Brother, you said, God damn it. You know what, man? It's this headset. I've listened to some of the playbacks, and this headset does give off a static thing for some reason. It's plugged into my gaming system, and it's more or less built for Sim. So I don't. Okay, and well, I'll try to deal with it. Just kind of let me know if you guys hear the static, and I'll try to work with it. Okay. Um, so let's get back to the topic of life. Now, in the description, we have the definition of life. The quality that distinguishes a vital and functional being from a dead body. The quality that distinguishes a vital and functional being from a dead body. I think a synonym to that would also be vitality, right? The nature of that vitality and functional aspect, right? Versus literally a corpse. A principle or force that is considered to underlie the distinctive quality of animate beings. Interesting. A principle or force. So life can be a principle or an actual force, right? What we would call, um, let's say, in terms of humans, we would call that like a soul, spirit, or something rather. That force in terms of animate beings, right? Life can also be a principle, okay? A thought or an idea that's put into action, right? That gets engendered by other people who then carry it out, right? That's a form of life too. Life can be non-physical, right? Um, so we're looking at the quality that distinguishes a vital and functional being from a dead body, and a principle or a force that is considered to underlie the distinctive quality of animate beings. That is what life is. But I want to look at what other people, because I like to pull up quotes. You guys know we do the quote thing on these live streams, and there's been other people that have had things to say about life, right? Because um, in this what I would consider to be advanced time, you know, as a technocrat, I would look at uh, what technology does today as a signifier of advancement. However, human consciousness as a collective is a whole other conversation. And so there's a bit of a disparity here, right? I think technology has largely outpaced people's intelligence or their capacity to utilize it in a morally and respectful way. That would also trickle down into how they view life in and of itself, right? So I think not only in this time, but in times past, there have been people that have had some very introspective things to say about life. So I want to pull up some quotes and we'll get into it. Let me just check the chat real quick before I do that because I have a habit of literally reading shit and blabbering and not reading the chat. So let's see here. We got the 403s, occasional static. Okay, 60 say okay. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm trying to make sure that there's no static. So I'm trying not to move too much. I don't know if it's the little headphone wire. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. There's some sort of little wire short or something somewhere, probably. That's usually what causes that. Okay. He said, to paraphrase, it's ridiculous how meticulous you have to get with this. Wow. Okay. All right. So let's pull up some quotes on life. Let's talk about it, man. What have people had to say about life? Well, let's start with Buddha. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Now, I guess if you're an actual living being, you would have that luxury now, wouldn't you? Hmm. And notice I called it a luxury. It is a luxury in all actuality. Think about it, right? Because somebody could have made a decision for you to literally not be here, and you had literally no say so. Look, think about it like this, right? You could even be in the middle of like some sort of crime that's going down, right? And dude, motherfucker points his gun at you and shit. You give me all your money. Okay. Look, you could give him all your money. What the fuck is money? How many times have we lost money, right? You can give it to him. That spares your life. But see, you had a choice in the matter. You could have balled up, got all ballsy and shit. Fuck you. I ain't giving you your money. And pop, pop, pop. Right? Now, you had a choice. That was the choice. That was your choice for your life, right? But to this whole other situation that we're talking about here, that little tiny human that's developing, no choice, right? It's my choice. Oh, I'm not a woman, but I'm paraphrasing. It's my choice, right? Baby's body, though, they had no say so in the matter. You, however, are still here. So, yeah, you know what I mean? It's kind of like when you really kind of contextualize life and how we even see it. I think there is sort of like this mass state of myopia, right? Where it's like I determine life, and it's just like no. Well, okay, you do in the sense of whether you do or don't engage in the act that creates it. Yes, you do from that standpoint. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. You'd be correct. Okay. Once you do it though, and the miracle happens, yeah, we need to start taking responsibility at that point. Now, insinuating circumstances aside, and we know what those are. We're not going to go into that. We know what that is. Put that aside. We're literally just talking about uh, life and how we look at it, right? And how we look at it as something that could, be disposable, just at our whim, right? The same justification for someone who chooses to murder somebody, right, in cold blood, right? Bang bang. They could use they're essentially using the same justification. This is why we need to really kind of take this back to about a 20, 30,000 foot view, and let's just look at life as the sum totality of what it is. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. George Bernard Shaw. We do not remember days. We remember moments. That's true. Don't ask me what I ate for dinner last Tuesday evening. I don't know. Um, I can recall though a conversation I had from last Tuesday. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. So we kind of time is it's an artificial, right? What we look at is like time, seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, right? All these things, right? These are just measurements, right? They're not real in the way we think of it to be, right? Because I'm pretty sure all of you guys have experienced days where it just dragged, and you were just like, "Holy fucking shit, why is this taking so long?" And then there were days where it's just kind of like zip. Okay, was it did time speed up? Did it slow down, or was it literally just your perception of what was going on at the time, right? So it's not so much how that we recall these things, experiences based on like the day on a calendar. It's not. It's based on moments and experiences in time, right? Like I can't. Well, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I can't really tell you the exact time when I went to like grad night from high school, like graduation and shit. I just know it was in June of '95 sometime, and it was at night at Disneyland in Anaheim. Right there, you go. So it's more about the moment as opposed to the specific date or anything like that. It's how our minds record moments. This is how life kind of comes at us and imprints us with our experiences. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Confucius, he's the fortune cookie guy. Confucius, yeah, he's the fortune cookie guy. Um, let's read that one again because yeah, I tend to agree. I tend to agree with this one. Life is really simple, but we insist on making it complicated. Have you guys listened to just like manosphere panels or just relationship panels or just panels talking about have you guys ever listened to that shit? It's like I think Confucius existed like in the BC times, like it was like 150 BC or some shit, right? And even he understood. He totally understood back then. Isn't that amazing? Hold on one second. Absolutely amazing. I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted, and behold, service was joy. Hmm. Hmm. What are some of the axioms that are applicable to this sentiment here? Uh, with it, life's simple pleasures, right? Um, even like when I was young and shit, like for whatever reason, I always kind of knew I had some sort of reason for being here. Okay, this is kind of why I'm like this got we got to really like dig deep into life and what it is, right? Because I think people are too flippant about it. Okay, too flippant about it, and you know, the the key, or in my view, the key or the magic to life is really taking in like the shit that happens when you're just standing still, right? So if you guys ever seen on my channel shit, I got like videos of like birds and stuff right around my house. I'm a bird watcher. You know, you can learn a lot if you stay still and just observe them, right? And then you'll start to learn a whole different aspect of how life operates and works, right? It gives you a whole deeper understanding of it, right? Because you understand that okay, there's your life, then there's these animals that do what you can't do. They fucking fly, for crying out loud, right? That in and of itself is something where I would even think that a random person would just marvel at the fact that these things can do something that you can't, like fly. Think about it. Most people can swim. How many people can fly unless you get in a fucking plane, or all the other methods where you have to kind of attach yourself to something. No one can just jump up in the sky and just literally boop, just not to my knowledge. Okay, not to my knowledge. Um, what about plants and how they do what they do, right? In terms of life, photosynthesis. My life, in my view, is something to marvel at, not something to delete. So I think with regards to the human experience, we're here to leave this place in a better state than it was when we got here. And I'm coming up on 45 next month, and I'll tell you right now, I don't think we've done the best of jobs doing that since I've been here, right? Since I've been here. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less. You know, Mary Curry. I only have two fears in life. I'm not going to reveal them, but I'm dead fucking serious when I say that. It's only two. I only have two fears. Everything else, bring it on. Okay. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. And if you can't help them, at least don't hurt them. Dalai Lama. Hmm. Our prime purpose in this life is to help others. I told you, I came here with this thought that my whole point in even being in this motherfucker is to leave it in a better place than it was when I got here. We do this brain trust thing to help others, right? So I'm just Following the directives of the Dalai Lama, but he never told me to do this shit, right? So I'm just kind of glad that at least he kind of concurs with what it is that we're trying to do here. The truth is, you don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. Life is a crazy ride, and nothing is guaranteed. Eminem. That's why you got to make the most of it. Stop with the bullshit. Stop doing dumb shit with your life. Life is too short for long-term grudges. Elon Musk. Um, I gotta tell you, that's something that I've long had to work on. Right nowadays, I you know, listen, it hasn't completely gone away. I'll keep smoke for a motherfucker. Like, just no, make no mistake about it. I will. But I'll keep shit moving though. I'll do that too. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep shit pushing. But if a dude pulls up, man, and if it's a problem, then we'll handle that shit. The true secret of happiness lies in taking a genuine interest in all the details of daily life. Holy fucking shit. What was I just saying about appreciating the small, the what they call it, the precious moments, right? Like just the mundane, the mundanality. I think that's a word, right? Like everything is so what am I trying to say? Fast foodish, right? And everybody needs that dopamine hit, right? That next. Ugh, what are we doing? What are we doing now? What are we doing now? What are we doing now? People can't sit fucking still and appreciate peace and calmness. The sunset. What the fuck? What's happened to us, man? You gotta understand. I revel in that shit. I love that type of stuff. I love peace and serenity. It allows me to think. Got a lot of shit going on, man. And so that's when you have peace and calmness and stillness. That's what allows you to take in more of those moments in time, because you're not going to just it's not, the brain is photographic. It's not, it doesn't record on a clock like that, right? You when you recall a memory, you see an image in your head from that memory. That's how the brain works. We can talk photographic memory and developing that shit in detail, finer detail, another time. But yeah, you know, he who ha- he who has a why to live can bear almost any how. I'm gonna read that again. That was Friedrich Nietzsche. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Like I said, I only have two fucking fears in life. Anything else, based on what I've seen in life thus far, shit. Well, first of all, if you've learned a thing or two about life, given some of the things that you've gone through, you have come to a position in life where you've evolved, where you do things different. You don't make the same mistakes. Therefore, it doesn't put you in the same situations, the same scenarios, right? Where you're encountering the same things, only to have life try to teach you what? The same fucking lesson. Okay? So, ideally, as you grow and evolve in life, if no one's trying to take it from you, in the womb or otherwise, um, it's a series of experiences, right? That correspond with this thing we call time. Okay? and our evolution within it largely is predicated upon our application of our own intelligence and what it is that we're learning in terms of data gathering from our experiences, right? Um, we're doing a lot of stupid shit out here. I gotta tell you, don't go through life, grow through life. Jesus Christ! It seems like every time I go on a little diatribe or whatever, and then I read a quote, and then boom, it's totally applicable, right? But this is why I go to quotes from other people because I'm like, well, don't just take it from me. I'm just one person. Yeah, I can ramble on and on and on about all the shit I've gone through, whatever. Don't take it from me though. Why don't we correlate and correspond it with other people's experiences and see how it matches up? And by golly, life is a long lesson in humility. Ain't that something? Life is a long lesson in humility. You don't see much humility out here in these social media streets, do you? Not a lot of honesty, right? Not much. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Lao Tzu. Let's analyze that for a second. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. I would say sex is a natural act, right? And a spontaneous change would be like a pregnancy, right? Lao Tzu says don't resist them though, because see, that'll only create sorrow. Let reality be reality. Well, you engaged in it, let it be what it is. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever the way they like. Well, things have to go as they go. This is why like what we do in life is very important. We have to take our thoughts and our actions extremely serious. This live stream is called life. How serious do you take it? How much value do you assign to yours? Like shit. Because people are now I'm hearing people talk about the nature of this shit that we call life as if it ain't worth a goddamn. It's fucking amazing, man. Every man dies. Not every man really lives. William Wallace. Hmm. See, here's my thought. As a man, you don't really start to live until you face death. Ask me about it. The most important thing is to enjoy your life, to be happy. It's all that
When are
matters.
they gonna turn on the lights,
Audrey
Daddy?
Hepburn.
Right after dark, Amy. It'll light up the whole lawn.
Will it light up the whole world, Daddy? Light up the
Life is a
whole
dream for the
world.
wise, a
Light up the
game for the
whole
fool,
world. Light
a
up the
comedy for
whole
the rich,
world.
and a
Light up
tragedy
the
for the poor.
world.
Wow. Let me read that one again. Life is a dream for the wise, a game for the fool, a comedy for the rich, and a tragedy for the poor. I just let that one soak for a second, man. Sometimes I read quotes and I don't really need to put anything on it. Just let you guys like marinate on it. Let me go and check the chat. So I'm going in on these quotes, man. Y'all know how I be getting sometimes with this shit. I'll just be digging in. I don't be paying attention to the chat. So let me look and see what we got. Let me see here. Okay, Hulk, you said technology will only just amplify the nature and state of people, whether people choose to use it to build or destroy, cultivate, or break down. Yes, it is an amplifier. It is just that. Absolutely right. So I err on the side of I don't want to call it benevolent application, but I would say moral and ethical, right? Application in accordance with nature, right? I think that's what we want to try to strive and aim for.
Light up the whole world.
So people, in my view, have lost their humanity in the sense of there being an objective moral standard to hold all accountable. Yeah, there's a caveat to every goddamn thing, right? So you can never really truly hold somebody accountable, right? Because there's a caveat to things. Right. Well, moral relativism. I got it. Yep. I see that comment right there. Okay. Sick you said, as human beings as a whole are moral or more emotionally connected than intellectually. When one is passionate about something, they can be connected with others sentimentally. Well, I would say, Sick Diggy, typically what we have is if you know, if we've developed more of, say, like our sixth senses, right, are kind of like our intuitive capabilities, empathy, our ability to feel others from far away, right? um I think developing that within oneself garners a certain type of way that you then go about dealing with people, right? Because you've kind of developed yourself to a point where you feel the energies of others. You can look and read body language, facial disposition, right? All of these various things. You can read somebody, and it gives you an impression of their state. So if more of us had that developed, then I think we would kind of go about operating in society in more of a stable, stoic manner, right? Because there's going to be a general recognition of like the various things that people are going through. So we were kind of containing like our how we're going to interact with other people in a way where we get the results that we want to get in the exchange without discord, so to speak, right? These are higher faculties that we need to actively work to develop within ourselves. I find that it's I have to work on it still, but you know it works in business, right? But I have my times where I blow up, and I did it this week a couple times, you know. But it's something that we as humans, right, need to think about in terms of like, okay, we talk about self improvement, self development. What does that look like, though? Get what I mean? Um, Super Triz, what's good? What's good with you, bro? Welcome, man. I appreciate you for coming through, man. We got to chop it up, man. Average Joe, brother, you said, I find certain segments of the Black Manosphere entertaining and informative until the trolls show up. Are there trolls? I didn't see any. Hopefully there's not. If there are any mods, can you guys do something about that? Okay. Got healthy black pill diet. Yo, welcome, man. How you doing? Afro Sci-Fi is, hey, what's going on, man? Welcome. T Riddler, what's going on? Hope you're doing well this evening. Okay, yeah, what's good, man? Hey, we're doing well, man. We're just kind of discussing this topic we call life, man. But I wanted to, as we typically do over here on the Sapio-Males Guide to the Galaxy, we're gonna give it a different angle, right? We want to correlate our thoughts and ideas on this with what other people think about life, right? Because I think we have these new concepts that are really being pushed, as Hulk said, through electronic means, where it's amplified. That frequency gets amplified through that means, right? Um, and it's an issue. It's a problem, right? Because if more uh, common sense leaning minded people were to have a dialogue about life and what it is and what it all entails, we would be having the type of conversation we're having tonight. And then when we look at people of the past and what they've had to say about it, we'd find that there's a lot of correlation. So I think this evening we're all in good company, right? With the individuals that we are reading quotes from. Larry Dawson, you said good morning, everyone. Okay, so it must be morning where you are. So good morning. I will greet you and say that. It's 10:46 p.m. Pacific Standard Time where I am at. Good morning to you, brother. Welcome. Glad you can join us. Trolling is also relative. Trolling is annoying. I wish people wouldn't do it. It tells me a lot about them. Okay, Joe. You said no trolls detected. Okay, got it. Okay. I was just like, shit. Are there trolls here? Like, come on, man. We're talking about life. Why are there trolls here? All right. Let's go back to the quotes. All right. The purpose of life is a life of purpose. What the fuck are we doing here? Robert Byrne. What are we doing here? Why are you here? No, serious question. Why are you here? I mean, okay, outside of obviously your parents had sex. Okay, never mind that. You're here. Do, so, have you bothered to look around and see that there's something that probably needs to be done, or this is a big planet. Why are you here? Just question for us to think about. What are we? Why are we here? Why are you here on this live stream right now? Why am I here? Why are we talking about this? Well, I think it's necessary. I'm unapologetic about the shit that I do and why I do it. Purpose. That's why. So I'll make no bones about doing these live streams and talking about this type of shit. That's why I'm here. What about you guys? Beware the barrenness of a busy life. You know, something told me, because I was talking to Ryo, shit, I don't know, it was like maybe a day or two ago. We talk like every day, but we was kind of ruminating over like topics and subject matters and shit. And there was a few we put on the table, and I was in the backyard a couple hours ago, and I was like, man, what am I gonna talk about? And something hit me. It just said life, right? Now, mind you, this is me sitting in the backyard, staring at the sky, looking at birds, right? Because I think those little moments we were just talking about during those mundane times where you can really start to learn about the finer aspects and details of life literally happen during the time when you're what? Not busy. When you're literally standing still. Which is what a lot of people cannot stand to do. that would, according to Socrates, because he's the one who did this quote, beware the barrenness of a busy life. I get it from work and all that kind of shit. I'm busy, yes. However, I counterbalance that by gardening and doing a bunch of shit and living out in the country and all that kind of stuff, right? So you gotta find that balance. But if you're just on the go, on the go, on the go, on the go, busy, 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 right? I'm doing this, or hey, maybe even your dating life, right? This guy, that guy, that guy, that guy, this guy, this chick, that. What are you getting? Literally nothing. And Socrates even said it. Like I said, what I like to do is look at quotes from people who predate me. What do they have to say about this? Oh, the same shit I'm saying. Interesting. Not to, I'm not putting myself on the level of a Socrates. I'm just saying, isn't it odd that we kind of think the same way about this type of shit? Perhaps you guys do too. This is why we're having the conversation, right? Life isn't a matter of milestones, but moments. Rose Kennedy. Once again, it's about moments in time. It's not about time in and of itself. What are we doing within the context of time? Like, how do we view time? How do we view life? This is what this is about. Right? Maybe if we start deep diving into it from this level, we won't be so flippant about how we look at it and how we go about creating it. Just maybe. I don't know. Just throwing it out there. All life is an experiment. The more experiments make you the better. Ralph Waldo Emerson. You know what? I think I'm going to stop the quotes right here because let me see. Yeah, I'm at about 52 minutes. Okay. So, let's see here. Let me get the StreamYard link. All right. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drop the link. Have some folks come up. We can talk about it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step away from the little boys' room to the little boys' room for just a second. Um, yeah, because we kind of went hard on the quotes, and I think we got a good feel for the angle on how we want to discuss and correlate our experiences in terms of life, right? Because yeah, the conversation has gotten so reduced, from a Supreme Court ruling on down to as to what a life is and the virtues of just sort of ridding it, even though you consciously engaged in an act to create it, is extremely problematic. It speaks to the human condition. Okay, right? Because like I said, the very people that are completely fine with doing these types of things would um, they would lose their shit if you killed their dog, right? If you took a puppy and you threw it in a fire pit or a kitten. I'll lose my shit if you throw a kitten in a fire pit or a puppy. Okay, I'm an animal guy. I'm a nature guy. I'll lose my shit if you do that. But what I also won't do is advise someone to yank life out of their womb. I won't do that either. Life is precious. Okay. I will be back here. Give me a few minutes. Just rock out to some sounds here, and yeah, I'll be right back. Okay. I'm back. Let me see here.
Greetings.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing, Naima? Oh wait, hold on one second.
I'm good. Oh, you remembered my name. I feel so special.
All
How
right, you
you
were a
been?
couple weeks ago, man. Or it was like whenever that was the last one
Yeah.
you were on. It was like just a couple streams ago. I mean, we haven't really done much in the past few weeks because we just gotten busy and shit. Wait, hold on one second. Yo, Rael, if you're there, I posted the link in the chat, bro. If you got it, it's over. It's in the chat because he had texted me about it. Because I had texted him, but he wanted the email, so I just do it in the chat. If you're on your computer, bro, just hit the link in the chat right there. Yeah. So yeah. So no, I mean, I've just been kind of discussing this whole life thing, right?
Mhm.
Because I think nowadays, there's all these sort of social, I don't know, let's call them social programs, right? And that any people could ascribe to at any time, right? um,
Mhm.
Whether it be like the LGBT stuff, whether it be the SYSBM, whether it be the Ibmore, whether it be red pill, black pill, blue pill, whether it be gel cap, whether it be gummy. I don't know, whatever, right? People are ascribing to all these various forms. I don't even want to call them schools of thought, right? Because a lot it's not outside of maybe say modern day feminism or third or fourth wave or whatever the hell it's on. That
Mhm.
is in the schools, but everything else is through a digital device vis-a-vis social media platforms, right? And
Correct.
so, right, you can sort of aggregate what the large collective is thinking about certain things, right? And with this whole sort of Roe versus Wade thing, um, it's really kind of brought to the forefront what it is that your average person thinks about life, right? We're, so that's why it was kind of worth having a conversation about it, but from a different
Mhm.
angle.
Well, here's my perspective on this. Now, where I'm at right now, current the nation I live in currently in Europe. Um, First of all, a woman does have a right to an abortion. That is her choice and everything.
Hmm.
That's undeniable. However, in certain countries, they have tried to curtail abortion rights in certain countries, and you just see it is just history repeating itself. I mean, if you consider like Romania under the Ceausescu, during the final years of the Ceausescu regime, in the late '80s, or like what's going on in Poland when they've been like curtailing abortion rights because the population is predominantly Catholic. You think they're doing it for moral reasons when it's actually there's alternative reasons for doing so. In the case of both countries, first of all, in the case of Ceausescu, it seemed bizarre because his was a communist dictatorship, and women's rights was allowed. I mean, abortion was allowed, but it
It's
turns
a.
out that
Mhm.
as you were saying,
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you want to? Okay, but like I said, it was like they did so for ulterior motives. It's like somebody once said about asking a certain group of the opposite sex about why they do something. They'll give you a good reason, and behind it is the real reason.
Well, we know. See, that's the thing, right? It's we're sort of talking above reason, right?
Yeah,
That's the reason why it's like I kind of read quotes, right, to kind of speak
yeah,
to what how we should be looking at life, right? Because see, even
hmm
think about it like this, right? Even with all of the people and all of the reasonings and all of the whatever you're thinking, whatever you're referring to, right? Think about it like this. Those are all human, living, breathing people that are making these decisions. Isn't that ironic?
Yes.
Okay,
How
so
I see this is this. As far as the hoopla, the hullabaloo, the outrage over Roe v. Wade, it's just it's part of the paradigm of thinking that or the social paradigm that people find themselves in. Because let's not forget, you still have the ongoing culture war, and I understand why these things are why things are being the way they are, and these things were already foretold in advance. But just people want to just like be outraged after the fact.
well, what's interesting.
But on a go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to say, well, what's interesting, if it's foretold, then where's the confusion?
There is no confusion, because take the whole concept of Roe v. Wade being reversed. A lot of people complain that certain groups who are engaged in this, what it does is it allows them to continuously be irresponsible with their reproductive organs, so to speak. Because the irony is those who can create life, who bear life, or conceive life, already have like several forms of protection or contraceptives, and abortion should be seen as a last resort. So you have to ask yourself.
Okay, so that's the thing, right? Why are we looking
Yeah.
at why is that being looked at as a resort? Let's start there, right? Because as a resort, like outside of the scenarios where it should be considered or warranted, right? Outside of that, what I'm saying is that as humans, what we need. Wait, hold on a second. Damn it, where is it at? Okay, I
something wrong?
No, I'm just looking for something. Give me a second. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, we're good. Okay. So one should intrinsically understand that when you engage in sex, right, especially if it's unprotected, right, then it's like if then. Okay. And what I'm arguing here is that as humans,
That's right,
we have to be very conscious of our actions and what we're doing. Okay, okay.
true.
There actually technically is no need for abortion outside of certain scenarios, and that would be like medical procedures, right? But what I'm more or less trying to kind of peer into.
Yeah, that's correct. Because in fact, I'll give you one example to substantiate what you said, if I may.
Sure.
In certain Islamic countries, under the who adhere to Sharia, the abortion is permissible under certain situations. Like say in the case of the pregnancy could be a high risk and could be a detriment to a threat to the infant or the mother, or in some cases fear of the child could be stillborn, something like that. So under certain situations, they realistically saw it as, yes, it's permissible under these circumstances. Otherwise, it should not happen.
Well,
but at the same time, if we look back at history, humans were practicing infanticide. If you know what that is.
Yeah, no, I know what that is, but I guess the problem here is, as a futurist, why am I looking at history?
I'm sorry? Could you repeat that question?
I said, as a futurist, which is what I am.
Oh.
Why am I looking at history? Now, I mean, I garner data from history. Yeah, that's how you kind of get intel, right?
Yeah.
On how to move into the future, right? So let's just say that we've correlated and we know all of this, right? I would say that as a futurist, we can't move in a manner and a method that really kind of like leaves all of that in the past.
Actually, you can, but you have to understand, not just because, like what you said, like when I always say that when you ask the question of what, you also have to understand the how, the whys, and everything to understand everything perspective. So,
Well, I mean, I understand
far as,
my own. I no, I understand what I. Here's what I understand. I understand my own motivations for doing things. Right?
yeah,
There's things that I want to avoid because there's things I want to achieve in life. This is what I
that's correct.
understand. So I understand cause and effect, right? Causation, correlation. I understand.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like results of actions. These are kind of like
Yes.
fundamental. These are fundamental things, right? You see, so like what I'm saying is that we can continue to delve into the weeds, right, on a lot of this stuff, or what we can do is look at higher aspects of life, i.e., the quotes that I was reading. Okay, so
hmm
none of that touched on political movements, infanticide. Do you notice that? Do you notice
hmm
any of those all those quotes that I read, all that stuff that I read, literally had
Yes.
nothing. Oh, I just don't take this the wrong way. Had nothing to do with anything that you brought up. Do you notice that?
None taken. I'm sorry. Can you
Right.
repeat that?
No, I said any of the quotes that I read, none of that had
Uh huh.
anything to do with like some of the things that you brought up with regards to life.
Yes. I mean, considering because you were talking about quotes that were from a philosophical aspect,
Right.
but I
And
was talking I'm also talking from a pragmatic aspect as well, because pragmatism, philosophy, they all have to come together and combine into a
okay. And
because
so
even as
what
a
I was going to
futurist.
say now in response to that, I think we just saw this. We're seeing it right now, as with this whole
Uh huh.
decision with Roe v. versus Wade. This is the
hmm
whole reason why we're talking about this,
hmm
right? Because what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what should the higher or lower principle win out? Which one? Which one? What should people opt for at the end of the day? The higher principle, the higher concept, or the lower one? I mean, I asked the
Okay.
question. I'm not really thinking that it's going to take this much contemplation to answer it.
Well, I have to see this. I know you're a futurist, and I have to look at this practically, if I may.
Yeah,
And
I do too. So yeah,
I could, yeah. So what I have to say is, unfortunately, that could vary from that has to be seen from an individual aspect, because unfortunately, some people are going to choose from their lower. I'm sorry, was it higher and lower? What was that again? Because
no, I
I
said
couldn't
there's
hear
a
what you were
higher
saying.
principle that can be applied or a lower one. So in all scenarios, what is most beneficial for a person to opt to apply?
I'm sorry, you were Borging a bit. The
Most,
higher planey, did you say, or
I
lower?
said a principle.
Yeah, you were Borging a bit.
Principle.
Oh.
There's a higher principle, there's a lower principle. In all scenarios in life, what is optimal for us to apply typically?
Unfortunately, a lot of people.
For the best outcomes. And no, you don't. What you don't have to do is justify what it is that unfortunately people are going to do. I'm asking you a direct question. What is most optimal? I'm asking you. Don't tell me what other
I would
people
say
do.
from
I'm asking you.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
what's most
say
optimal?
the higher principle, basically,
There you go.
because
Okay.
you're thinking, because you have to think several steps ahead. Like a certain individual once said,
Thank you.
for society to
Right.
expand,
Yeah,
you have to think several
I'm not
steps
trying to
ahead,
argue
several
the
generations
virtues.
ahead.
Yeah, I'm not trying to argue the virtues of somebody who's going to opt to do something of a lesser nature. I'm pushing the position of doing something of a higher nature. That's why I'm saying, well, what makes most sense? What makes more sense? I get what people are going to do. It's the whole reason why you have a whole uproar over this type of shit. And I'm over here like, if you really want to go pragmatic, I'm the one who's over here like, well, you do realize that having unprotected sex is what leads to pregnancy, right? So what you could do is not do that in
Of
order
course.
to prevent that, right? And then that way you don't have to do this other shit that really kind of shows a side of humanity that I really think we should have long evolved from. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Okay.
It's
I'm
just that,
just
but like I said, unfortunately, some people are not able to grasp the higher principle. Far too many are still stuck in the lower principle.
well, I'm saying, well, what do
That
you
is
have
the
right?
reality
What?
we
No,
have to deal
I'm
with.
saying this is evidenced in the fact that you have a whole bunch of people that are literally having conniption fits because they can't rip humans out of their wombs.
Absolutely. That's correct.
This is completely
I'm not
evident.
challenging. I'm not
No.
So we
I'm
just
not saying you're challenging. I'm saying this is evident in that, and this we really have to look into this. This is the reason why I'm discussing life from the position that I'm discussing it from, because I'm like, goddamn, we've reduced it down to a point where, like I said, it's these same people would murder you in cold blood if you took their puppy or kitten and threw it into a fire pit. You get what I mean? Okay.
it's selective dehumanization.
Okay.
Selective dehumanization. Look at it like
Right.
that.
And that's what I mean. This is really to kind of dive deep into the psyche, the psychological disposition that has people view life like this. Because you got to understand, if we're really talking about the past, a lot of those people that I read quotes from, those were people of the past, and they had some very enlightening things to say about life, not
True.
pro infanticide and no, the fuck they didn't do that. And I'm saying in 2022, as humans, especially as black folks who have gone through civil rights bullshit and breakups of the homes and
still
drug
going
wars. Okay, well, okay. At a certain point, dude, shit's gotta click. It's gotta click, right? It's gotta click. See, things don't happen without. Well, things don't happen without our participation. It requires our participation. That's the first thing. Okay, so these things can't. You can set a trap for a bear and put honey in it, right? Guess what you need the bear to do? Step into it. Otherwise, it's just a trap sitting there with honey in it. Get what I mean? So we gotta
have a snare and everything.
Well, so we gotta stop doing these traps, these cultural traps. These are generational traps, right? Single parenthood traps, right? Unwanted pregnancy traps. Because that's what the fuck these are. When the fuck are we going to actually recognize and realize like what life actually is? And stop making it this philosophical thing. Imagine that, right? You ever sit up and listen?
I believe Carl Jung once
to
said,
like a feminist or a woman like ruminate on the justification for deleting life? But like I said, ask her if she would be okay with me grabbing her kitten and throwing it into a pit of fire, and watch how offended she would be. Listen.
Complex, can I say something?
Yeah, you gotta go ahead.
First of all, first thing I want to mention is a quote by Carl, I believe it was Carl Jung, who said, thinking is hard and painful. That's why it's easy for many to criticize. The second thing I would say is, like, I've heard something really absurd, like feminists say, like, those of a certain flavor or a certain school of thought, if you can say, talk about that there needs to be like a certain section of the male population that needs to be subjected to castration.
Excuse me?
And they say it with a certain level of indignity and openness, and they're blatant and very blunt about it. And I listen to them, but I'm not just focused on what they say, but also how they say it. And I'm also trying to recognize their facial expressions, because you understand that sometimes some people say things frivolously, or some people say things with the intent of trying to get a reaction. So we understand that human life has been dehumanized. It's no longer considered sacred. In fact, it's been trivialized. You know what I mean?
I mean, I mean, if we're talking about just from a collective standpoint, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's like the socialization aspect, right? But then everyone, we all humans possess free will, right? Do you have the freedom of choice?
Yes.
You
But
do
how many
possess.
are educated of that choice is the question.
What? No, 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 no. People are educated. What I'm speaking about is using higher thought and
Mm-hmm.
principle in the application of choice. These are
Hmm.
this is all conscious, right? Like it's not a, it's not some sort of pie in the sky concept. No, this is like you literally observing your own reality and then making the
No, no,
proper.
I understand what you're trying to say
Yeah,
because
and then I'm saying, and
because there's
every human has
no,
the
I
ability
agree
to
with
do it,
you. I
right?
agree with what you're saying, complex. But what I'm trying to say is there is a level of self-awareness that needs to be required in order to have that. If you know,
Well,
if you understand what I'm saying,
okay, so
I'm
would
not
you
trying to
say
argue
that?
with you. I'm
No, no,
agreeing
no.
with you,
I'm
but I'm
not.
seeing
I'm
from
not
a
saying you're
different
arguing with
perspective.
you. I'm asking you a question. Would you say that
Oh,
children have the level of self-awareness that say their adult selves would have in the future,
no,
but
because
children have the ability to make right and wrong decisions, right? So
to an
even,
extent, but they
well, no, I'm
learn,
saying,
but
so like I'm
unfortunately, they
saying,
learn things from actions and consequences and
right,
trial and error.
but what I'm saying is that okay, you do the same thing as an adult. You never get it right. This is my whole
No,
point, right? Yeah, you never get it right.
true.
So
Never,
what I'm
no.
saying is that application of doing what's right and what's wrong starts young. It's a habit. It's a practice. It's a
Mm,
it's what it's how you interact with the world. Perfect example. You don't litter.
indeed.
Okay, you don't litter because you just fundamentally understand that's just not kind of like the thing to do. You wouldn't want somebody to throw shit in front of your house, would you? No, 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 you wouldn't. So don't go toss it out in the street. Matter of
Um,
fact, there's trash
Hold on,
receptacles you can
complex.
shit in.
Can you repeat that? Could you? I lost you at a moment.
Oh, okay. No, I said like
I lost you for a
perfect.
moment. Could you repeat what you said?
Yeah, you're fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Okay. I was saying perfect example is you not littering, not throwing shit in the street. You wouldn't want somebody to throw some
Mm-hmm.
shit in front of your house, to litter in front of your house, right? So, what you don't do
That's correct.
is go out and litter, okay? And it's kind of like a pay it forward type of thing. This is
Mhm.
like hermetic principles, dude. The seven laws and all this shit. It's very like
Mhm.
life can actually, and one of the quotes I referenced, dude. Life is actually, in all reality, it's simple. Okay, humans make it complicated. We're the ones that make it complicated.
Complex. Excuse me,
Yeah.
but you keep going in and out. Something wrong with your connection because sometimes you board, sometimes you go in and out.
Wait a minute.
So I can't
Okay.
hear you clearly.
Hold on. Let me just look in the chat here. Can is it? I don't know if it's me or you. No one's okay. Is anyone else hearing me Borg? Because I'm on my computer. I'm not like on a I'm not on a mobile. I'm not on a mobile device or anything. I know my connection's up and fine. Uh, am I Borging you guys?
Um, I'm on
No, no, no.
I'm on my
See,
tablet,
so
and
Ryle said no. That's your signal. I can hear you fine. That's why I was like, okay, because I'm on my internet connection at my house. Everything's up. See, yeah, I'm hearing everything is fine.
I guess it may be from my end because you have to understand I'm halfway I'm on the other side of the world, and
Yeah,
I'm
no,
using my
that's
tablet.
no,
My
that's
internet
okay.
doesn't.
I just needed to make sure, dude, like if it's on my end or if it's on your end. Because I think on my end I can
Yeah.
hear everything. Everything sounded cool. Um,
You can hear me perfectly.
yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, because I don't know, for some reason when I hear you, sometimes you go in and out, other times you start to board a bit.
Okay, yeah, no,
So,
everybody else can hear me just fine. So, but I can hear you fine, dude.
all right. All right.
But no, you got it, man. Go ahead.
All right. I'm good. Okay, we're good. All right. So like you said about neat littering and everything, or like the golden rule, do unto others as you want and to be done unto you.
Yeah.
So you have to have that common courtesy, but sometimes, and children, they learn from mimicry because they follow the parents' example.
Mhm.
Correct. So if you're setting good, it's not about what you tell them, but unfortunately, people live by do as I say, not as I do. In fact, where I originally come from, there's a saying, "Do as the priests say, not as they do." And I never understood that until I got a chance to ponder and realize, oh, because you can learn from them what to do and what not to do. We all learn from the adults in our lives how to be a better person or what mistakes to avoid. I mean, I have siblings and I have younger siblings. I remember growing up, I used to say, as far as my siblings are gold, my job is to make as many mistakes as possible so they can learn what not to do. I've got a brother who's about a year my junior. And, all the things I had to go through, and, growing up, he went through them and he was like, and he had it easier because he learned from me what not to do, what to do, what not to do. Just as I had older cousins who I learned from on what to do, what not to do.
Mhm.
Although it's easier said than done because we're talking the late 90s here.
Mhm.
Late 90s going into the millennium. So it was a lot of changes at that time. But a lot of things stayed the same. So, learning the golden rule and higher principle thinking, it was easy in certain times, but later on when times got really stressful, because a lot of people, as much as they want to use the higher principles, when you're in a situation that's very compromising, sometimes you have to use your lower principles. Some adhere to lower principles because, like,
I would actually say
right?
in those times you actually use the higher principle.
Yeah, in an ideal world, but unfortunately,
No, I
in
would say in the
times of
real world, and I
strife,
could tell you
times of
from my own
difficulty.
experiences, like because there were things that I could have done, which would have required me to revert to lower principle, right? And I thank God I didn't do
Yeah,
it.
hypothetically.
No. I'm saying
I would
I was
agree
in
with
some. I
that.
was in no, not hypothetically, in some real shit, right? And I had choices to
Oh,
make. Okay, no, I'm saying
mm,
I'm going by real life experience. I had some
okay,
choices to make. Okay, and I
okay.
could have went and done some shit or not, right? Now you got to weigh the pros and cons, I suppose, right? However, the
Yes.
cons did not weigh the pros to me. Why? Because of principle. So I was like, well, you know what? The way the universe works, like we said, if
Mhm.
I'm not out here littering, then I'm not going to expect anyone to litter in front of my place, right? So it's sort of like a
Mhm.
pay it forward type of situation, right? You got to work with universal law with all of this. Same thing, even when you
Mhm.
find yourself in situations. Always defer to the
Yep.
highest principle, right? Because see, here's the thing, right? Um, I'm trying to remember what that saying is. The saying is um uh something to the effect of whatever you wait, is it not whatever you wish for, how does it go? But okay, basically, okay, you're gonna get what you're gonna get based on your actions.
Oh, what you put out, you shall get in kind.
Okay,
You shall
okay,
receive in
so
kind.
if you defer to a lower principle, then guess what's gonna happen based on that law?
Well, a lot of bad things could happen to you.
Okay, so even in a bad situation, if you defer to the higher principle, guess what's gonna happen? See, the reality is that you're in a fucked up situation regardless. You have two options though.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, the situation in and of
Uh
itself
huh.
is fucked up. Now you got two ways to go about
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
Okay, that lower principle, based on what you just said, what are you gonna get?
Mhm.
Likely, more than likely.
A lot of negativity, simply because you are because like when I think of the lower principles, people usually operate on the basis of the ends justify the means. Very
Right.
myopic way of thinking.
Right. And so they don't really have your best interest in mind. They don't have the best interest in mind. They only their self interest. In that scenario, anything that you encounter, anyone you encounter is largely going to be self interest based. Whereas if you take the higher principle, more than likely you're going to encounter people that are willing to what? Help you. I've been there. I've been there.
And that is,
Go ahead.
I've been in certain situations myself of that. Fortunately, I found people who were of higher principle and who were able to guide me to adhere to the higher principle.
And this is what I'm saying.
You know,
Like
and
at all times, we should be thinking in this manner, right? Because
yeah,
it leads us into a path of valuing life more.
hmm
At a certain point, you know, we as people have to stop. Yeah, it has to click in our heads to make sense to operate a certain way at some point, right? You can't go throughout life, right, with the goddamn devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. At a certain point, dude, it's like you're gonna tell one of the other to shoe. Okay.
That is true. That is so true. At the same time, you look at this and you understand, like, unfortunately, you don't mind if I cuss, do you? First of all,
What? I don't mind if you what?
you don't mind if I just use profanity, would you?
I've used profanity. I don't know how many times this live stream, dude. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like I said, like what's the expression? A hard head makes for a soft ass.
Yeah.
Or as the Kenyan, or there's a saying in Kenya, until the child cuts himself, he will not learn not to stop playing with the razor blade.
Mm-hmm. I've had to tell my daughter that shit.
So, but unfortunately, there are a lot of people there who are so anorexic that they got a hard head and a bony ass. So you can't do anything with them.
Well, see, the thing about it is that what we're looking at here is it's not.
Excuse me, I have to inject humor. That's how it is. But yeah.
No, you're all good. No, you're fine. I'm just saying here's the thing, right? When I do these conversations, this I ask these questions, right? Because just like when I was saying, no, I'm asking you. Now, don't tell me about other people. I'm asking you. See, so it starts with ourselves, right? See,
Correct.
so if every person takes it upon themselves to start doing some different shit, then as a whole, shit starts to change. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can talk about what I observe out there, but number one, I don't have the desire to try to reach everyone, to try to convince them to think different, right? That's for a certain type of person. I'm completely fucking introverted. Okay, don't ask me to do that type of shit. But what I will do is have conversations like this where we can get the proper type of a deep dive where people can listen and then take with it, right? Take what they're going to take from it, and then kind of come to their own conclusion about it. But that's the thing, dude. That's an individual impetus. Like, once again, it's all choice, decision. These are free will. These are all things that come with being a human, right? And we use them on a daily basis. We use them all the fucking time. That's the part that kills me. Right? We use all this shit all the goddamn time to do all of the mundane shit that you do on a daily basis, but when it requires to use a little more dare we say spiritual effort to apply these things, okay, when I was speaking to you earlier, being more like socially empathetic, right? See, so to where you move with an era of stoicism in society. Why? Because by doing that as a man, you actually maintain order and structure in a public environment. When men conduct themselves with a stoic presence, it commands to other people around them, right, that there is a sense of strength and security in this place. Don't fuck around. And that's what that's like higher as we move up in the age as men. That's the role we place and we're supposed to be taking in society. Okay, and that's what brings the order and the structure and things of that sort. So it's a presence, but again, what that requires on our end is that we've evolved and we've developed our intuitive capabilities and our empathic capabilities to a point where we leverage stoicism to calm, right? Maybe say unsettled environments. You know, like if you've ever gone into like say a preschool and it seems like all the kids are just kind of running the room and then a man walks in. A grown ass man walks in, and all the kids just shit. There's a man here. Like that. Okay. Translates into other facets of society as well. Right? And these are um, points in our lives as men that we are supposed to be reaching and achieving, right? So then it preps us to go out here and to do things in the real world. Okay, that's how deep I look at life in terms of my what me as a man and like in my head what it is that I am supposed to be doing. I said this earlier in the live stream. Ever since I was little, I was a kid, I was just like, okay, I'm here for some reason. I'm supposed to be doing something. So that was sort of like a rudimentary acknowledgement that I had a purpose. Okay. What I'm not going to do is ignore that. I was never going to ignore that. We should never ignore that. We should never tell our kids to ignore that. So when you were speaking about, here he is, right here.
Hi, sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. So when you were speaking earlier about, you know, how it is that, you know, this stuff gets communicated to the kids. Well, we have to develop it within ourselves in order to communicate it.
Yeah.
Like that's how it gets passed to them. We have to do it, and then we
In a
pass it to
very
them.
safe
Yeah.
and productive environment, because unfortunately, some of us are in very chaotic environments.
Hmm.
So they need to have that stability in order to do that.
Right.
So if you can establish this environment for them, they can do so.
Right.
So accordingly, unfortunately, and unfortunately, many find that certain children are in very chaotic, dysfunctional environments. So it should come as no surprise that they would conduct themselves or view the world in a very chaotic, dysfunctional manner. Especially if they've been living in an environment where things are insecure, things are unstable. It does like a, especially to the amygdala of their brains. It does like quite a number on it, especially stress levels and everything.
Hmm.
And that's the neurobiological aspect of it. Since you're on the West Coast, I wonder if I think I've mentioned this individual before, a neuroscientist from Stanford, Robert Sapolsky. If you're familiar with that name,
No.
because he's under Stanford University neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky. In fact, Stanford's YouTube channel, they do have like a playlist of some of his lectures on neurobiology. Very insightful stuff he says. Like, and of course, there was a Nat Geo documentary called "Stress: The Silent Killer," where they talk about how stress affects the human mind and how that can compromise your ability to adhere to the higher principle of thinking, or how it drives you to think the lower principles of thinking. And
well, yeah, I was gonna say environment is the predicating factor upon that, right? So
that's correct.
right. So now that goes back to the environment upon which people are bringing humans into existence. Now, I'm saying there are choices. If you know your environment is not the best situation, okay, to bring a
correct.
person into, perhaps you don't want to do things, okay, where one, that puts you in a situation where now you've done that, and then two, causes a decision to be made as to whether now we need to terminate that decision, right? Which then what leads to more long lasting effects down the line. You get what I mean? Like people have to be more intentional about life. Like you can't just walk into shit and then go, oh, okay, I just walked into shit, so what are my options now? Don't walk into shit. And this is what I mean.
Understand that
It's
the
no,
word
no,
accountability.
what was that?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, good.
What I wanted to say was understand the word accountability is a word that people wish to a certain gender would like to delete from their vocabulary. That concept is something they try to avoid as much as possible.
Well, wait. You said a certain gender, right? So, I mean,
the opposite sex.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, like, the word accountability is something the opposite sex does not want to contend with, or something they want to address, because like the termination of a life is them trying to avoid accountability of their actions. Because if you it's like a get out of jail free card, so to speak.
Well, let's do this, right? So what we do here. And wait, hold on, Ryle, what up? You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, bro. Okay, all right. Okay, so let's do this, right? So, because what we do here is we always hold a mirror up, because the same position. Oh, what was that? I think Ryle muted. So what we do is we hold the mirror up, because see the position that we take could be applied to both sides, right? Because see, there's a lot of dudes that'll knock a chick up, and then when she says, "Hey, I'm pregnant," he'll be like, "Hey, well, look, here's the money to go get it done," right? So she may want it, he don't want it. Then it flips on the other side. She don't want it, he want it, right? And then it flips, and then it'll be on both sides. Both of them don't want it, right? Ideally, what you want is both people want it, because that was the whole fucking purpose of having sex, to be goddamn begin with. You see, this is what I mean. Living life with intention and purpose, okay, so that you're not going down the road of doing dumb shit. Like, we're talking about life, how we look at life, how we view it, how we go about living it, how we go about creating it, even. You get what I mean? So when it comes to that accountability thing, I'm gonna say this. Well, it takes two to tango. So bare minimum, you can X a lot of the shit out if you have a lot of men being accountable for their own shit, which is what I always preach, right? Because I'm a man, I can only do what it is that I do. I got one, it was with my wife. Hey, right? I can tell you how it's benefited my life by doing that shit. And that's the only thing I can say. Right? Now, if everybody else wants to get on their red pill pussy conquest and shoot the clubs up, hey, all the best to you, right? That's not the life I'm trying to live. That's not what I'm trying to promote. I really just don't see how it lends to living a life of purpose. I don't see how it leads to the acquisition of finances and assets, because basically what you're doing is just creating more liabilities for yourself. So it fundamentally doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that it fundamentally kind of goes against if you're trying to live a quality life. And this is what we're trying to.
I believe hedonism. I think my mindset of this is okay.
Wait, name me.
Not to interrupt, but I do think that
we're listening. I just thought it cut out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. But like I said, like the whole thing about hedonism. I've understood it like this because, like, yeah, I've looked into certain. I've watched a few clips, and I've also read some books on a few things on metaphysics and understanding the male psychology about this. And I do understand that there are those who use hedonism to compensate or overcompensate for a lack of purpose in life. So since a lot of them are not, so this is why some people will engage in hedonistic pleasures. It's used mostly as a means to compensate for lack of meaning or lack of faith or lack of trust or lack of purpose in their lives.
Well, there's a saying.
So they act like, what is this all about?
Well, there's a saying about something about what the devil does with people who have idle time or something, right? They
Idle
got.
hands are the devil's tools.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, so
That's the saying.
I mean these are
Idle hands are the devil's tools.
yeah, idle hands are the devil's tool, right? See, so yeah, so if you really don't have anything that motivates you to do something in life, right? You basically just become a vessel to just do dumb shit. Okay, and you see that reflected. You know, people that look, even people who do have maybe something going for themselves will tend to do dumb shit because they kind of don't even see purpose in that. Perfect examples there is what's his name, the basketball player from the Charlotte Hornets. He had a huge contract on the table, turned around, did some dumb shit with a chick, and so I guess he's got a charge on the table, and I guess he's gonna lose this contract. I don't know. But,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? You're Borgen.
Okay, I was saying that there is a Charlotte Hornets basketball player, Miles something, and he did something stupid with a chick, and so now he's got a police charge on the table, and it's gonna fuck with the contract that he had on the table that he was about to sign. And what I'm saying is that when you don't recognize a sense of purpose in what it is that you do in life, you're prone to do stupid shit like that. You won't throw it away.
Especially if you don't have the right guidance in your life, Julian. And
well, he's a grown man. Guidance. He's a grown man.
No, I mean, like somebody could have pulled him aside and said, "What are you doing?"
Right,
you realize you need, like. Oh, sorry.
No, that was Ryo. He was saying something. Go ahead, bro.
No, see, the thing is, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I was a kid, I generally thought people were just stupid in general. This is when I was a young kid. My mom, she asked me when I was about 5 or 6, Junior, why you walk around like you better than everybody? And I was like, because I am. And she was like, no, you can't walk around thinking like that. And because I used to just sit back and watch people. I've always been a very observant person, even as a kid. And I used to just watch just the dumb shit people would do. And, you know, as far as people in our group. And I used to just be baffled. And I haven't really seen anything different in my adult years. And so, you know, even with a situation like that, I mean, we don't really know the full weight of the situation. You know, when you're in those dynamics, you know, in this day and age where women look to clout chase for anything, you know, there are females out here who will ruin a man's bag just to be regarded as a victim publicly. So, but overall, you know, the environment is really not conducive to to young men with something on the line like that to be, and I actually think this is his wife too. So it's a different scenario. It's not just a regular chick. It's his wife. So I just think that overall, we don't really.
Excuse me, my brother. Could you repeat that one more time? The
I
environment is
said,
not what?
I say it's, the environment is just not really conducive to. It's not really conducive to young men putting themselves in situations with women when they have money on
Thank
the
you.
line. But in general,
I mean,
hold on, let me finish. We have this notion that people are just smart and just intelligent, and we just forget human history. Like throughout the course of human history, most people have not been well read. The printing press, I mean, it's only what what when did it come out? 1600s, I think.
Yeah.
1500s, 1600s. So masses of people being
in the 16th century, 14th, 15th century.
masses of people being well read and informed. I mean, America is one of the most well researched countries ever in history. And people are dumb as shit in general. Like, you could put it right in their face. I mean, literally, put it right in their face. And it's like they just will not see it. So, myself, like, I had this conversation with a dude I used to be cool with years ago. I was like, it's actually kind of our fault for expecting so much from the masses of people because um, um, it's a reason why exceptional people stand out in history. It's a reason for that because they're exceptionalism is not the norm for the masses of people. It's never been that way. Um, and I think that a lot of times we can frustrate ourselves with the notion of you know why these people don't do it this way. You could be talking about people who come from an environment where there's a lot of inbreeding. You don't know. I mean, you just don't in this day and age. So you just, I think a lot of it is I'm an optimistic person by nature, but when it comes to people and intelligence, I'm very, very skeptical and pessimistic because it's just not something that is just the norm. I mean, it really has never been that way.
Well, I'll say this, bro. Um, I know that it comes in various forms, right? In terms of intelligence. So that's why I was talking earlier. I was telling Namer, like, move with like a stoic presence, right? Because you never know who it is you're going to encounter and what they know, right? So, I understand that people have different types of intelligences and there's levels of the different types of intelligences, right? So this is where, uh, again, we become more evolved as humans where we can better read people and read kind of where they're at, what their strong, not their strong suits and weaknesses, but where they're oriented. Some people are very empathic themselves. They're very caring, very nurturing type people. Some people are very technical, very pragmatic thinkers. They can give you an answer to a mechanical issue just by looking at something, right? Understanding where the value in people based on what their strong suits are and stuff like that. We can read and gauge that ourselves, man. Like I said, man, everybody does have some value. This is where I agree with you, Ryan. I'm like you. I'm an optimist ultimately, right? But I'm also very much a pragmatic, linear thinker too. So I'm not. I'm gonna shoot the shit straight. right? And I'm not gonna really care to be the type of person to get off in the weeds on things, but you know, I will try to always aim for the best case scenario in which I think everybody can benefit from. You know what I mean? I think that's if you were to ask me, what is it that, what are some of the strong suits or the characteristics that I bring to people or society? Yeah, it's I have that mindset. Maybe how my personality comes across, a lot of people don't particularly care for me, but I won't allow that to take away from what it is that I try to do, like say like this channel, and then like stuff I do with business and all this kind of stuff. So it's also having a healthy level of self awareness.
It is.
I think a lot
I
of
think
people just.
you
I
know.
think a lot of people just don't. Personally, I just think that a lot of people really don't want to be in the know of things. Um, Ignorance is bliss for a lot of people, and I think that
Mm,
when you give them the knowledge, when you give people the knowledge, there's a responsibility that develops there. It's a call for action to take a stand or make a change. And many times what happens is that people will resent you for actually waking them up, because if you wake them up, now they have a responsibility. They can't say, well, I didn't know this was this way. Um, I think a lot of times people really love to complain more than they actually want things to change. Um, I remember when I was learning about some of the things that were taking place during the civil rights demonstrations, and I remember how um, people were pushing back against MLK when he was wanting them to boycott, and how fearful the people were, like um, against not taking the bus, and how even people were looking at him like he was a troublemaker, and not really wanting to take such a soft stand, because that was kind of a soft stand, that turned out to be effective. But um, you know, and so sometimes a lot of times, man, people just they don't want to um, stick their head in the sand and not really have to actually. You gotta have to mute up, man, because it's just the background is noisy.
Is that me?
No,
Hold on. Let me
it's
see if
him.
it's me. You still hear it? Is it background for me?
I think it's him.
Okay. No. Okay. Name is he's muted up.
I was muted. I was muted up.
Okay, so but I think that a lot of times it's the responsibility that comes with the knowing. Um, I mean, I've seen it in the space, with a lot of males, you know, um, that coming into that knowing and awareness, like, because it's not just enough to know, like now you have to apply what you know. And I think that that's where a lot of, especially males in these spaces, that's where they fall short. It's not good enough just to know it. You have to make an application on doing something different. That's the reason why you get the new knowledge. It's not you just get knowledge for just knowledge's sake. I mean, you got
What?
some people like that just data junkies, and they just want to just spout out information just for information's sake. But to really make knowledge be wisdom, you have to properly apply it in the real world.
Well, I was gonna say it's like theory versus applied science, right? Like you can come up with a theoretical concept, then you have to apply it, right? To test to see whether the shit actually works or not. right? And then that's when you get into the
Um,
fight.
I recall something that
Hmm.
waking people up and telling people what not to do. Uh, um, I remember listening to another civil rights leader, the formerly known as H. Rap Brown. He now goes by the name of Jamil Abdullah Alamin. And this is back during his days in the 60s. We had this speech called Collectivism versus Individualism. And he said, like, when it comes to trying to educate people what's going on, it's not enough just to tell them, if you see somebody doing wrong, it's not enough to tell them not to do that. You got to give them an incentive why they shouldn't do it, or show them a different way, because otherwise they're not going to listen to you. Because people, so you got to hit them where you got to explain to them in a way that incentivize them to do better. Otherwise, they're not going to listen to you.
Well,
Like if you should say, I mean, no,
I'm sorry, go
I
ahead.
understand it, but unfortunately, some people, like I said, like you said, are still like stuck in the lower principles of thinking because of where their mindset is, where their head's at.
Right.
So
And
if you want somebody to change, you like, you just like explain to them, what if I told you there's another way to do this? And if they're open to listening to you, then maybe that's when they're open. If not, you have to leave them be. You can't save everybody.
well, no, there's nothing. See,
And
that the whole thing is
yeah,
nothing's.
because like
It's not about.
it's like H. Rap Brown said, unless you give them another alternative, they're not going to listen to it. And if they're only, but that's only if they're receptive to it.
Okay, so
You can give them another alternative. It doesn't matter. See, the thing
yeah,
is that I've been saying this for years. Knowledge is like crack. You don't have to market it. Either you want it or you don't. Like, can
yeah.
nobody come to us and try to sell us some crack? Like, we're not gonna buy that shit. Like, we're not gonna buy it. We're not gonna use it. If somebody offered
Man,
it
I'm
to
gonna
us for
get the
free, we're not
fuck
gonna.
out of here, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because that just ain't where our mind is locked in at. Well, knowledge is the same way. There are some people who are not. There are many people who are not locked in. Um,
Mm.
uh, are not locked in terms of knowledge, um, in terms of like literally making a change. Like, for example, like um, me and Complex, we run the same age. We were very much alive and kicking when the recession happened in '07, '08. Now, for people like us, that was a wake up call for us. We're Generation X. That was a wake up call for us. So,
Shit, wasn't it?
because the paradigm that we had been groomed to follow, go to school, get a job, that model had become broken at that particular time. So we had to get different information to transition to the new economy that we found ourselves in. Um, that was '07, '08. You know, um, I seriously can safely say that I have not seen Black people from a collective standpoint, even people that's older than us, who use that time to transform how they think in terms of financial literacy. I mean, that was a scary time if you were an adult, you know, um, for the people who didn't have a lot of money stashed away, that was a very scary time. And either you recalibrated and figured out how things work, or man, you felt the shaft, boy. So all these years later, you don't see Black people as a collective having become uh, financially literate in a way that would help them stave off a next recession that people are predicting coming around the corner. So, and that just lets you know, like, even experiencing something like that still won't wake people up out of out of the reality. Like that still didn't, shake people loose. And so if black people as a collective are not going to wake up and from even from a situation like that, then nothing is ever going to wake them up, from a collective standpoint. And so I think a lot of times the people who are awake can sometimes find themselves distracted by people who look like them, thinking that it's their mission to save them. Nah, man, your mission is to save yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro. I mean, because the thing about the terms we're using, right? People who are awake, right? But isn't there this? Isn't there also this whole woke culture?
Right.
Okay, so what does all this mean? What does this all mean? I'm with you, Ryle. I'm more like, okay, well, listen. Here's what we do: we synthesize information, we put it out here in a way that's butter laid, and we act on it, right? Applied science, okay, and we report our findings and we keep it pushing, and we engage those that want to move forward with it. See, this is I'm looking at like human evolution like in real time as well,
Hmm.
right? How we literally evolve our processes in terms of like cultural leanings, how we do things, what's customary, right? Like, what are we doing to optimize life, right? There's a lot of shit that's going on right now that I would say is forcing a lot of us to look at it in such a way where we need to reassess, say, how we wastefully spend our lives, right? This inflation, this gas shit, not going anywhere soon in terms of gas prices for those of you guys, if you guys are wondering, okay? Not going anywhere soon. So why is it that guys like us didn't say, well, we get into micro mobility, we do this, we get into EVs, why? Because it addresses these issues. It's a sign of evolution. Problem in society, what does the mind say to come up with to solve it, right? To address it. Okay. There's those who are approaching life in such a way where they view and act in that manner. And then there's those who largely don't. And then there's the people who are looking for some sort of sign, a spark, a hint, insights on what direction to go. They know they should be doing something, not quite sure what. Didn't really kind of get that direction from the parents, maybe. Just didn't really have the mentorship, the mentors around, or just the proper persons around to maybe kind of guide them or point them, right? So I would say another um, position of using, say, venues like YouTube and social media and stuff like that is to do what we're doing: provide information, give insights, right? I mean, I can't force anybody to make decisions on anything, but bare minimum, I can put some information out here. We can have conversations and stuff that might lead or guide somewhere. I mean, we may not be physically in the, physically around various people who either listening to this now or will listen to this in the future, but even what we say in conversation can do that, right? So it's purpose on our ends, even whether it's the real life stuff we're doing or the time that we take to even be on venues like YouTube and shit. We haven't been live in like 2 weeks. This is the first live stream we've done in probably like 2 weeks, right? But we weren't going to just do a live stream and just come over here and just shoot the absolute shit and not talk about absolutely nothing. No, if we're going to do it, we're going to spend time talking about something that people can take away from. You know what I mean? So these are, like I said, these are all decisions that we make, right? I don't know. I have a hard time conceptualizing in my head how, like, say, like one person, like, say, goes against a, say, YouTube algorithm, right? In a battle for like the hearts and minds of people. It's like, what? Like social media is what it is nowadays, man. What you do is you just use it. Put your own, put your shit out here the way we put it out here, and people that'll get it will get it.
Yeah, I know for me, man, you know, um, the saving model um, is it's it's one of those things where people like to try to hype people up, to go out there and um, try to save adults, but man, adults are gonna do what they want to do, man. Ain't no safe like you know. If a person wants to make internal change, it's not because somebody saved them. It's because they decided to
They decided
make
to do
that
it.
choice as an
Yeah,
individual person. There's no
yeah.
such thing as saving somebody. They made that choice. You just gave them the information. They ran with it, and so um, you know, I think that's why you know, even though we give out information, you know, I think for people like us, uh, the main aim is just to be amongst those circles of people who share in your thought process in terms of things that you hold dear. Um, I mean, you have people out there who are gothic type people. They like the gothic culture. They want to link up with people that's more in tune with what they in tune with. Um, we're in the business sphere. That's why we linking up with each other in certain ways because that drives us for the things that we want to accomplish in life. And I think that for the people who choose to not be in the know, they have every right not to be.
Yeah.
Um, at the same time, can't complain when you don't get certain results because you chose not to, operate or act on certain information that was presented to you.
Dude.
Um, I think that a lot of times people do get those moments in life where somebody tries to extend some help to them to change their perspective. Um, it could be 15, it could be 25, it could be 38. There's gonna be a time where life is just like that. Like
Man,
people are not just gonna just sit and watch you just consistently do wrong and wrong and wrong as you go through life. There are gonna be
no,
some
man,
people that try
dude,
to help.
you know,
But
you
if you're not ready for it at that time when they extend it to you, that might be, those few times where you get that opportunity, and if you reject it, then the universe is gonna be like, well, no sense to just keep giving this person information that they're gonna keep rejecting. 'Cause clearly they don't want it, and it's just gonna dry up.
what I was gonna say, man, no, sometimes, man, this should even be happening, and you don't even like, um, it'd be okay. There's been times where I done seen like a person ask like another person something like at the grocery store, right? And so like the person would answer the question, but would give them maybe say more information than that other person may have asked for.
Mhm.
And so what that other person didn't do is value like the knowledge that that person just gave them, and instead it's kind of like, okay, lady, thank you, I didn't ask you for all that. Okay, that type of shit. It's like, okay, well, wait a minute. You don't even know who this person was that was just really telling you all this, dude. Like, this could have been like a world-renowned chef for all you knew. You were asking her about like these different baking sodas, and she just kind of went on some diatribe, and you were just sort of like, "Hey, I'm just trying to find the best one for the price. I didn't ask you for all that." You could have been talking to what's her name, Barefoot Contessa, for all you knew. The chick, Ina Garden. right? So look, like I said, I'm a big fan of the pleasant surprise. Okay, uh, I've had pleasant surprises that became my mentors. Right? Shout outs to Danny. I talked to him a couple of days ago. Right. Um. So, uh, I've always kind of looked at it as like, I kind of take if okay, if I'm projecting out a certain aura, so to speak, then I'll allow people to return it in kind, and then I'll see what it is that I get. It's kind of like a, sort of seven hermetic principles type of, what you give out, you get back type of energy. So even if you're giving out positive shit, man, like the most unlikely person may give you back some positive shit, and you never know what that might be,
Mhm.
right? I don't like to. That's what I'm saying, dude. It's like just to kind of circle it back to like the life, topic. That's sort of like the magic and the miracle of it. And so I don't like to reduce life's experiences down to this very rudimentary shit when it doesn't have to be that. You know, that's what class speaks to, right? Quality of what? Life. How people choose to pursue that, right?
Right.
Some people look at life and they regard it as something that they could literally throw away. Others say, you know what? I give such a shit about life. I want to live in a very nice place, drive nice shit, and eat nice food.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's all about. I really enjoy being in spaces where I'm not the smartest person in the space. Um, I really enjoy learning. It's one thing I appreciate my mother for. Man, she passed down to me the love for learning. She read voraciously. She would sit there at the table with a stack of books down into the ceiling, man, reading. And she taught me a long time ago, man. Never accept what somebody said. Always do your own research. It always stuck with me. Um, and she was the most well read person I've ever known. And being that we're in the information innovation age, um, knowledge based economy, all this information that's out here. Um, that's how you're going to be successful. Um, you're gonna your mentorship in a lot of ways is going to come through pages in a book. Um, just because of the nature of the way society is, um, we're not as close knit as we used to be because society has been built out and developed in powerful ways, which is, for me, is a good thing. But there have been, pros and cons to that. But overall, the information is out there. People, have done things, um, and they become masters at it, and then they want to share that knowledge, and they write a book. And even if you come from poor families where nobody knows a damn thing, thankfully there are people out here who are willing to write a book about what they know and share that information so you can come up. So um, you have to go out of your way. To me, you have to go out your way to me to fail in a country like this. I mean, you really have to go out your way to just not want it when the opportunities are there for you to seize. People who seize those opportunities will have a great life. You know, people who choose not to, they're gonna have a lackluster life that's not really worth speaking about. But that's their free will choice too. You know.
Yeah, that's what that's ultimately kind of like sort of like to sum this up, man. Like is it's all life is choice and choice is life, right? I'm like, okay, well, you make decisions that lead to creating it. Those are choices that were made. Now, once you do that, and I'm trying to remember, there was a quote that I read. I think it was from Lao Tzu, right? Where basically he was saying, well, listen, you have to let reality be reality, right? You have to let things flow based from the things we set in motion, right? What you don't do is interrupt the flow of life by deleting it, because that's part of like your own growth and development, right? So I, you know I just I wanted to touch on this whole thing, man, but you already know how we got to do it, man. We're not gonna go and pull up some fucking article from Yahoo and read about Roe versus Wade and all that shit. I wanted to literally just talk about life from the the aspect of what it actually is. That's why we put the definition of it in the description there, and that was the premise that we were going on here. Now, just to relate it to myself, listen, I couldn't imagine deleting my baby cakes. First of all, let me tell you something. Me and wifey were going at it in the bedroom. We were trying to make the shit happen. Okay, so there was no talk of deletion. Okay, based on what we were doing, it was expected, and that's what I'm talking about. If you in the bedroom doing that type of shit, you need to expect it. Like, what the hell? You're there. The situation is what the situation is. Ain't no protections or nothing. You guys know what can go down with that shit. Matter of fact, you go in there with it. You're telling me that you kind of don't care if it happens, right? Like, you kind of just throwing caution to the wind, just be like, all right, well, cool. I'm just saying, man. Like, we need to get a grip on all of this shit and start thinking about the true essence of life and giving it a few goddamn grains of salt.
Well, I was reading a book a long time ago, and a woman said, she said, nature has a way of bringing together two bloodlines for the specific purpose of wiping both of them out. Um, and so, um, I never forgot that. She also said that we live in a seminar society. We live in a type of society where people will pay you to tell them what to do. And
The guru, the age of the guru.
and it was just phenomenal just reading both of those statements, because it was just like, wow. You know, like-minded people are going to align. That's the one thing that I've learned throughout the years. Like-minded people, you know, they're going to find those that operate on their frequency and their vibration. In most instances, one of the great elders said that people think that the first law of nature is self-preservation. He said, no, the first law of nature is vibration, it's frequency. And when we talk about these conversations about black people, like, this artificial construct doesn't matter. What matters is your vibration, what vibratory frequency you resonate with. Business for me and you is a vibratory frequency that we have connected on in a sense of brotherhood.
Yep.
So that's a bond that's just unshakable, because we view it from the same lens. We understand the power of it. We know what it could do for not only ourselves individually, but those that we love. That's one of the main reasons why we're in it, because
We've done it before too. That's the thing.
Right. So, we connected. We met in this space. We connected in this space. You met the other members of that ultimately helped bring about the creation of the Black Brain Trust.
Yep.
Because you met and you connected on a certain vibratory frequency. That ain't black, that's just consciousness. It is what it is. And, I think, for us, like, we get heated, sometimes, but,
yeah, you already know how that go.
But it works out the way that it's supposed to, because, this is an elite group. This is an exclusive group, and those who have studied and showed themselves approved are in the group, and those who haven't aren't, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And so we can do more with less, because less can be held more accountable than some big conglomerate. And I think that for us, Farrakhan said it a long time ago, man. I went to a lecture he gave back in, I think, in 2006 in Atlanta. And he said, business is the science of life itself. He said, because every creature from the planet takes what it needs from its environment to survive and thrive.
Yep.
So when you see that squirrel stacking those acorns during the spring and summer, getting ready for the fall, that's economics.
Yeah, it's economics, man. Like I'm measuring out the food, right? I'm gonna need for the next amount. So I gotta put in this much work right now, right? Well, I can still get out here, get these acorns, these walnuts, these whatever, right? Before the weather turns, and I'm gonna need enough food, and then I might have a couple little squirrel babies and shit, and I'm gonna need enough, nuts for wifey to be able to feed them motherfuckers too, right?
Yeah.
So, so they be out there, they be on the job, man.
They be on their throne, man, because once they get cold, they're not trying to be out there looking for food.
Yeah, it's covered with snow and shit, right? They ain't gonna be finding much. Hey, but look, it's coming up on 2.5. Hey, I'm gonna cut it short. Hey, but look, I'm gonna text you some shit, because look, you had made a point. She was talking about business shit. There's a comment that was left on shit, which one was it? I think it was the real estate live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said we was FBE and niggas into doing business. I shit you not, bro.
Said what?
Oh shit! Hold on. Oh yo. This cat said we was SBN niggas in doing business.
Oh my god. I'm so sick of these.
Hey, bro.
I'm so sick of these little boys, man.
Hey, I'm not even lying, dude. Hey, look. Hey, I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm gonna text you that shit up and call you.
All right, man. I'm a wow.
Oh shit! I'm gonna get. Hey, I'm gonna screenshot this shit. Give me a couple minutes. I'm gonna send it to you.
All right, bro.
All right. All right, y'all. Hey, wait, Ryle. Hey, before you bounce, man. Any last words, bro? Any last words?
Oh no, man. I'm good, man. I said that what I needed to say.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna send this shit to you, man. Give me a couple minutes.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for coming through. This was another one of those topics where it's we have a few topics on the table, and then maybe the brain kind of hits on one, and yeah, we wanted to kind of touch on this whole life thing, but maybe not from the way most people is going to talk about it. So hopefully, we kind of uncovered some ground here, and maybe kind of threw a different angle at it. We engender life ourselves, and thinking we're responsible with our day to day, right? We should also be responsible when we go about creating it too. And I think that not only should we be responsible when we do it, we should then take on, right? We should actually kind of go with the more of a heightened level of accountability and responsibility when we go about creating life, right? I think that serves as the impetus for our own sort of growth and maturation and evolution, in my view, because that's how it works for me. I can't even tell you I'm the same person, right, that I am today, father of a 10-year-old daughter, than I was when I was single, right? You wouldn't even recognize the two complex designs, so to speak, right? The two completely different people, man. My daughter is like literally made. I don't know. I think that's probably like a whole other conversation, actually, right? Kind of like the effects that what parenthood does to you, right? How creating life and then being responsible for the life that you create actually changes you. That is actually probably that's a different live stream in and of itself, right? That would be some maybe like a parenthood live stream or something but things happen in life for a reason, man. And I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there, man. I need to go get some to eat. I'm gonna hit Ryle up. Thank you guys for checking us out for this evening. Please make sure to like this live stream if you dug our chop up here. Shout outs to Naima, Sig Diggy for coming through, Ryle, and everyone in the chat that came through as well. Appreciate you guys for coming through, and everybody who has been listening in. And okay, I guarantee you we'll be back tomorrow. It's either going to be a tech talk or a business talk, but I got to figure out how to set this up because it's a lot to cover. So I think it's going to be a tech talk, and I want to try to work in like certification and like you know what I mean, like the certification talk with regards to like career fields and some of the stuff we're going to talk about. So let me put that together because Mike just sent me a shit ton of links and I need to kind of put this all together. So it's either it'll let's just say it's going to be a tech talk, but it's going to be a tech talk. I'll figure it out. You guys have a good one. Talk to you later. Peace.